Excited to have Cynthia Aspengren. Nice. She's an extension professional from the University of Arizona.
Thank you. My clicker. Oh, right. So we had a collaboration between the Cooperative Extension at the University of Arizona. I work for the Cooperative Extension. I'm the regional coordinator for the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. So we're a direct education program that teaches nutrition to youth and adults, but families, mostly families with children. So we have the collaboration between the Cooperative Extension, the Huachuca City Garden Club, and the Huachuca City School Garden Club. Huachuca City, Arizona, right there where the little red star is, 70 miles southeast of Tucson, Arizona. Population is 1,624. The average age is 38 years. Mostly white demographics. We do have some Latinx and some Blacks in there. Very close to a major fort, Fort Huachuca, near a little town or bigger city called Sierra Vista. So some of our information. Huachuca City, how it compares to other parts of the United States. 34% of the residents have an income below poverty, and the child poverty rate is 53.9%. One person household basis, 29% of the families are below the poverty line. The child poverty rate doubled from 5.2% in 2021 to 12.4% in 2022. It is a food desert. It's a little pass-through city. What they have there is a gas station, that's a convenience store, and then they have a Dollar General. The community garden was set up specifically to help the city have fresh local produce. Their job, they set themselves up to make sure that they were serving that community. The community, however, was unfamiliar with some of the foods that they were provided from the garden. So with a conversation with the garden, we were able to work out a collaboration where they planted the food and we helped them learn how to prepare the food. So the garden club activities, they would learn to plant, grow, and harvest the food. We would teach them to prepare the vegetables for the family, and hopefully they would learn about healthful eating in that process. One of the benefits is the community garden is very close, within walking distance, to the grade school that we worked with. So we didn't have a transportation problem. They were able to walk over to the garden, and that made it a lot easier for this collaboration to work. The Huachuca City Community Garden would teach the gardening. They taught in the garden, they taught STEM and plant anatomy and physiology. University Cooperative Extension, we taught the healthful eating and food preparation, following food safety rules, part of the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, as well as partnering with the SNAP Education Program. A large portion of Huachuca City is functionally illiterate, so we did create these recipes as photo recipes, as picture recipes. With the understanding the picture recipes were going to the kids to make it easier for the kids to understand the recipe so the families could then use them. December and January, the students were taught to plant the seeds. They planted radishes, salad turnips, spinach, beets, and seedlings were also provided for lettuce and kohlrabi. They already had broccolini, red romaine, and Swiss chard. So We talked about what would be planted and what would be ready to harvest. I found recipes based on what they might be getting out of the garden. So we worked together so that these youth could see how this food was actually used and prepared. We were not expecting this to be, we did this together, we threw it together in about 3 weeks. We had no idea what we were going to get from this. And about halfway through, we thought we better start taking some data, because we've got some things happening here that we never expected. So students were organized in 2 groups just to make it easier for us to adapt the education to their age group and their levels. So one group would be in the garden and the other group would be learning how to prepare the food. And the next week they would shift. So each group got the same food intervention and gardening intervention. And at the end of this, we did a survey. The whole focus of the community garden is to help students learn how growing healthy food can impact their lives. We asked them, did they learn about the connection between gardening and healthful food? 96.97 said yes. We had no idea we were going to get numbers like this. We asked some more questions. I'd like to grow food at home. Picture recipes were easy to understand. I plan to eat more vegetables and fruits each day, and I learned about basic garden safety. So we got some incredible numbers here that we were certainly not expecting. So we were thrilled. And one of our success stories, a young mom with multiple children. One of her children was in this garden club with us. She saw the director of the garden, the Huachuca City Garden, community garden, and went over and expressed how grateful she was that the garden was there to provide food for her family, and she'd been using that food for 3 or 4 years to help supplement their nutritional needs. She said that her son came home with this extra food from the garden, was able to prepare that food for the family, and was absolutely excited about being able to prepare the food, that he had learned how to do it in class, that he knew the nutritional value of this food, and that he helped grow this food. It had a major impact on this family, and we've heard from other families as well that they have similar experience with this. We do have a few limitations. We only had 35 students. Some of the questions we asked were contextual questions. We're not quite sure why they answered the way they did. So we have to reevaluate some of those questions. Example, why did they say they don't want to grow food at home? They might not have the space, they might not have the time, they might not have the support. And we have no pre-survey results. As I said, we threw it together in 3 weeks and had no idea where we were going with this. So, youth in this food desert, to this pass-through low-income community with no grocery stores, learned how to plant and grow fresh produce with the help of this collaboration. Excess produce was sent home with the youth with a recipe so that they could feed their families. Families and students report higher self-confidence, meaning self-efficacy, and this is through anecdotal reporting, but we're doing some work to get some more information from these families. And some students reported planting some produce at their home and growing it at home themselves. We have some future goals. We're actively seeking some chefs to come in and work with these youth to give them maybe some more complicated food preparation skills. We are working with an educator that's building us a curriculum so that the curriculum can be used in the classroom or with the garden that meet core requirements. We're also working to encourage more families to become involved. So instead of just having the youth taught how to prepare the food, we want families involved as well. We believe this process can be easily replicated. There are my references. And these are the different groups that were part of this collaboration. So I mentioned Huachuca's City Community Garden and the Huachuca City School and Cooperative Extension. Echoing Hope Ranch is a small growing ranch that donated some food to the project when we first got started because the garden itself didn't have any food growing. Legacy Foundation was a funder. We got a lot of information from T. Colin Campbell. Gray's Garden of Eden came in and did some planting and growing information with the youth. And of course, we couldn't have done it without Huachuca City's support for actually creating that garden. And just the stuff, the legal stuff we have to say. Thank you. I look forward to any questions later.